Greetings, friends. You are watching the Ruslan Belov channel, and today we will take a detailed look at the situation in Ukraine as of November 17, 2025. A large number of significant events occurred today, so let's move straight to the analysis. Western analytical centers have released preliminary assessments of the pace of the Russian military advance in November. According to the German newspaper Bild, during the first 16-17 days of the month, the armed forces of the Russian Federation advanced approximately 900 square kilometers. If we consider this figure alone, it represents a kind of record. Such a scale of territorial gains has likely not been observed since early 2023. During the initial stage of the special military operation in February-March 2022, the pace was indeed higher, but later it slowed down. Throughout most of 2023, progress ranged from 200 to 400-600 square kilometers. And now, with November only halfway through, the Russian army is already demonstrating its highest numbers in years. 900 square kilometers represent the largest expansion of Russian-controlled territory since January 2023. And since today is only November 17th, it is entirely possible that by the end of the month this figure may exceed 1,000 square kilometers. Judging by the current operational dynamics, all prerequisites for this are already visible. Let us now move to the factors contributing to such a pace of advancement. We begin with the Zaporizhzhia axis, where Russian forces continue their push toward Orikhiv and Huliaipol. Starting with the Huliaipol sector, the map, as you may notice, has changed yet again. Today's data on the Russian army's progress in the open fields is confirmed by numerous sources: neutral cartographic platforms, pro-Ukrainian mappers, and pro-Russian analysts. According to updated information, Russian forces are actively pressing toward the settlement of Varvarivka from the direction of Ravnopilia. At the moment, the distance from Russian forward positions to Varvarivka is estimated at just 6 kilometers. This is a distance Russian units can realistically cover within 1 month, after which the R85 road north of Huliaipol will be physically cut. There have also been reports that Russian troops managed to break through the last major defensive line northeast of Huliaipol. This refers to the network of fortified positions marked in yellow on the maps, an interconnected chain of strongpoints between Huliaipol, Zatishne, and Yablunivka. This area is either fully under Russian control or is in the final stages of being cleared. Comparing the map from November 16th to the updated version on the 17th clearly shows an expanded grey zone, reflecting real-world shifts in territorial control. Thus, the battle for Huliaipol is effectively entering its final stage. Ukrainian units are either trying to stabilize the situation or have already begun evacuating specific groups. Russian drones constantly patrol the roads between Huliaipol, Zatishne, Vesele, and Zeleny High, monitoring all vehicle movement and logistics. As a result, the situation for Ukrainian forces on this axis has become critically difficult. Slightly further north, in the area of responsibility of the 36th Army of the Vostok Group, important developments have also emerged. The Russian Ministry of Defense, along with independent experts, confirmed that the settlement of Hai has been fully cleared of Ukrainian forces. Video footage showing the combat operations has been released, and it clearly displays Russian servicemen raising national flags in various parts of the village. Based on this evidence, the map has been updated again. While on November 16th, the front line looked different. Today, on the 17th, we can see confirmed Russian progress. Some pro-Russian cartographers also report that units of the 29th Army have secured positions in a forested area along the Volkhia River between Novosilka and Vremivka. This creates a semi-encirclement of Velika Mikhailivka and expands the front line along the riverbank. It is likely that an operation to force the Volkhia River and continue clearing the area will begin soon. Next, we move to the Pokrovsk direction, where significant shifts are also taking place. Comparing maps once again, here is how the situation looked yesterday, November 16th. That day saw the first footage of objective control, showing Russian forces advancing along Olympiyska Street, attempting to clear the Pokrovsk pocket. We previously discussed videos where Ukrainian FPV drone operators were striking Russian positions near agricultural facilities. Yesterday, pro-Ukrainian cartographers expanded the grey zone in the southern part of the Pokrovsk salient, and today we added the same correction to reflect the most accurate picture. Drawing from neutral, pro-Russian and pro-Ukrainian sources, the map of the Pokrovsk-Mirno-Hrad agglomeration as of November 17th appears as follows. Based on this information, Russian forces are completing the clearing of southern Mirno-Hrad. Ukrainian troops are either gradually withdrawing or may have already left the area entirely. The theoretical corridor through which Ukrainian units could exit the Shakov pocket is about 700 meters wide, but the real configuration of the front line suggests that this corridor no longer exists in practice. The settlement is encircled from all sides. Ukrainian forces have halted all counterattack attempts. Throughout the day, pro-Ukrainian cartographers did not report a single attempt to break through in the Shakov area. The only new materials that appeared were numerous videos showing Ukrainian equipment being redeployed in attempts to stabilize the front or relieve the besieged garrison. However, as those same videos show, nearly all equipment moving towards Shakov was detected and destroyed by Russian FPV drone operators before it reached the battlefield. Now we move further, toward the settlement of Kostyantynivka. Here, too, fighting is entering a highly tense and almost decisive phase. The fate of the small village of Ivanopilia, located along the Kazeny Torets or Kryvyi Torets River and next to the railway leading from Novorodsk and New York toward Kostyantynivka, is being decided right now. Today, footage appeared showing Ukrainian operators striking Russian assault groups attempting to secure positions along Sadova Street. Based on the released video material and neutral cartographic platforms, it is now possible to introduce the following correction. A significant portion of fortified positions east of Ivanopilia, as well as part of the village itself, has come under firm Russian control. The battle for this small settlement is essentially coming to an end. With high probability, Ukrainian forces will be forced to retreat west or northwest, toward Kostyantynivka or Berostok, within the next week. Such a withdrawal will allow Russian forces to bypass the Kleban-Byk reservoir from the north and compel Ukrainian units to abandon the area under threat of full encirclement. After this, the line of contact will likely straighten along the Yablunivka, Oleksandro-Kalinove, Ivanopilia, southeastern Kostyantynivka line. From this new foothold, Russian forces will be able to begin an infiltration-type operation deeper toward Osikova and Alexeyevka-Drushkivka. Essentially, this will mirror the Pokrovsk offensive, but on a larger scale, now in the Kostyantynivka sector. Now let us move to the Siversk direction. Today, an unusually large amount of information has emerged from this sector. The Siversk area encompasses a wide region, between Markivka, the M30 highway, Siversk, Yampil and Lyman. Judging by the number of new geolocations, confirmed events and reports, it is evident that Russian forces are shifting to the decisive stage of their offensive. Their objectives are the full clearing of Siversk, the breakthrough of Ukrainian defenses, and reaching the approaches to Sloviansk. What has happened here over the last 24 hours? Let's begin with the increasing activity along the M30 highway. Russian troops are operating intensely in this area. It appears that a strike is being prepared toward Ry-Oleksandrivka and possibly toward Kramatorsk. The primary purpose of such pressure is to approach key logistical routes and severely complicate the resupply of the Ukrainian garrison in Siversk. In Siversk itself, as well as around it, Russian drones are constantly operating along the main evacuation route T-0513. Today at least 3 to 4 geolocated strikes were recorded, showing hits on Ukrainian positions, FPV drone crews, and supply vehicles. These incidents indicate that only a small fraction of intended supplies is reaching Siversk. The situation for Ukrainian forces is approaching critical. However, the key development of the day occurred in the area of the settlement of Platonivka. The Russian Ministry of Defense reported that the South military grouping has fully cleared this settlement, located slightly southwest of Dronivka along the Siverskaya Donets River. The map has been updated accordingly, and we can clearly see that Russian forces have broken through Ukrainian positions. This is already the second settlement behind Siversk on the Ukrainian side of the Siversky Donets River that has come under Russian control. These data, as well as video recordings from the scene, indicate that the T-0513 highway is now likely under de facto Russian control. This means that resupply for the Ukrainian garrison in Siversk from the west and northwest is no longer taking place. In fact, it has ceased entirely. The only remaining route through which Ukraine still attempts to deliver supplies runs through Oleksandrivka and Sviatopokrovske. But this area too is under heavy fire control by Russian FPV drone operators. Movement along this road has become extremely dangerous. Every attempt carries the risk of immediate destruction. Additionally, shortly before recording this video, we received information that Russian troops have entered the southern outskirts of Siversk. This information is confirmed, and we now await objective control footage from that area. Now let us move a bit further north, to the settlement of Lyman. Here, an operational pause continues. Russian units are not undertaking active offensive actions. Limited skirmishes persist in the areas of Drobyshev, Stavki and Yampil, but without changes to the front line. It is likely that the Russian army has concentrated its main efforts on the Siversk direction. Recall that the offensive on Lyman effectively came to a halt after Russian units, according to several cartographers and analysts, cut the T-0514 route. After that, the main focus shifted to Yampil, Siversk and the surrounding area. Now, to the Kupiansk direction. There are reports that Ukrainian forces have completed a regrouping in this sector. According to experts, the armed forces of Ukraine may attempt a series of counterstrikes soon to unblock the units located east of the Oskil River. Therefore, a sharp escalation is expected in this area in the near future. And finally, we move to the northeast of Kharkiv region. Here, very important developments have also taken place. The Russian Ministry of Defense and several analysts announced that the settlement of Dvorishne has come fully under Russian control. We updated the map based on the available footage and the official report from the Ministry of Defense. Just yesterday, on November 16th, we spoke of two separate bridgeheads, one along the state border and another along the Oskil River. Today, after the fall of Dvorichne, these two bridgeheads have effectively merged into one large northeast Kharkiv bridgehead. From here, the Russian army, advancing with a wide front, will begin moving west toward the settlement of Veliki Burluk. Thus, with the consolidation of the bridgeheads and the clearing of Dvorichne, the Veliki Burluk offensive begins, overseen by the North Military Grouping. Judging by the pace and dynamics, it will likely unfold with the same speed and according to the same pattern as the Zaporizhzhia offensive, which has already pressed up to the outskirts of Huliaipol. In the Veliki Burluk and Pechenihi directions, the key settlements are Veliki Burluk, Bilyi Kolodiaz, and of course Vovchansk, which will likely come under Russian control within the coming days. After the fighting in the Pechenihi direction is completed, Russian units will be able to advance further, toward Chuhuiv and, naturally, toward Izium. This will restore control over the territories lost during Ukraine's autumn counter-offensive of 2022. Now a few words on political developments. Zelensky traveled to France today, where he held a meeting and negotiations with French President Emmanuel Macron. Information has emerged that both sides signed a package of strategic cooperation agreements. Under these new arrangements, France intends to transfer up to 100 Rafale fighter jets to Ukraine over the next 10 years, as well as several SAMP-T air defense systems. These systems will likely replace the American Patriot complexes, which, according to U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, are essentially pointless to supply, since they are destroyed within 2 weeks of being delivered to Ukraine. Thus, despite the dire situation along the front line, Kiev continues to secure additional military support, and, as we see, successfully. This suggests that hostilities in 2026 will only intensify. That's all for now, dear friends. Thank you for watching, subscribe to the channel, leave your likes, and see you again soon.